Time to call the meeting to order. Let's start the meeting with a moment of silence in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a roll call, please.
Mr. Allen,
Present.
Ms. Caskey,
Here.
Ms. Godovic,
Here.
Ms. Martorella,
Here.
Mr. Panza,
Here.
Ms. Schwartz,
Here.
Mr. Ray, Mayor Shank.
Present. Okay, at this time, I would like a motion for approval of the minutes of the April 6th, 2026 meeting. Okay, that was very, very good. Okay, and any questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, well, that motion has passed. And now it's time for the public comment, part one. Public comment on agenda items. Okay, wow, this is great. Okay, thank you. So now, with the longest part of the meeting, the mayor's report.
Might be. Kerry Ronder, he retires, it's my understanding, on May 8th. He was in charge of the Public Works Department. May 8th, this is Friday. So we thank him for all his years of service. He's been here for a long time. As everybody's aware, the Public Works Department has done a great job in keeping our parks nice, our streets nice, and everything else. So we wish him well with his next venture in life, whether it be retirement or whatever. Franco Verbain, hopefully I'm saying that right. He's also known AKA Frank. His real name's Franco. He has been working with Kerry, so he's the new supervisor, superintendent, the director. I'm not even quite sure what we call him, of the Public Works Department. I've spoken with him last week. He's a nice guy. He's hands-on. He was actually putting some stuff in the truck, so we welcome him aboard. Next, in regard to the police department, we have a new part-time police administrator, Jocelyn Fanny. She's a resident of Green Tree. She started about a week ago, so we welcome her aboard. She's working part-time, and she's working with Acting Chief Radigan to learn the ropes. A third employment matter was Amber Blunt. She was an assistant in the borough office. So you might wonder why Kim's here tonight. Kim's here tonight by default because because Amber's last day was on Friday, May 1st. She's moving on, so we'll be looking for a good person for that job. So we thank Kim for coming tonight to take the minutes. The next thing would be with Beth, Kim, and Courtney, the three ladies in the office. They're holding the office together. They're doing amazing things. So we thank Beth, Kim, and Courtney for holding the office together, where we're looking for a new borough manager. In regard to the borough manager, other people might say additional things, but we've interviewed 3 people last week. We're going to interview 2 people this week. So that's a total of 5 persons we're interviewing for that position. There could be another one, or one might not come, but anyhow, so it looks like we're gonna have 5 people. There's been more than that have interviewed, but the council chose 5 in particular to interview.
That apply.
That apply.
Yeah. Leaders again.
Okay, so there's more than that applied. I'm sorry, there's more that applied, and that the interviews are moving along. So that's the position there. In regard to speed humps on School Street, that's moving along. I prepared a survey, letter and a survey for the residents on School Street. It's not been sent out yet. In its regard to whether they want speed humps, the Public Safety Committee will be making a recommendation. It's my understanding in regard to whether to send that letter out and the survey in the near future. There was a question in regard to whether the slope of School Street was too steep for speed humps. I spoke with, I don't know how to say his last name, but he's an engineer, Andrich. He's an engineer at David Rooster and Associates. I'll get the spelling for you, Kim, if you need it. But in any event, he said that there's no restriction as to the slope or grade of a street for speed humps. There are restrictions in regard to sight distances and those things, and we would put up signs if the residents and council decides to go ahead with speed humps. But that's where that stands. In regard to, since now I've made the cover of the Green Tree newsletter, I'm not one just to do kumbaya or we're doing great or whatever. So my last article was about immigration enforcement and local police. This article is going to be about waste management. Our contract was from 2020. It expires on December 31, 2027. So council did a 7-year contract back then, which I think was excellent. The prices go up. Like for example, in 2027, we have 2 different invoices each month. One is for the garbage, one is for the recycling. But combined in 2027, between January 1 and December 31, 2027, it's going to be over $500,000. That's, and the residents are not charged any money. A lot of municipalities have extra charges for that. So I'm sure that council will start working on that in the near future to see what we can do, to see what kind of price we can get. And hopefully, no guarantees, we can do a job without increasing making a separate invoice for our residents. In regard to the NFL draft, moving on, there was concerns about attic problems. All their hotels were full. All of our hotels have been full in the past for other events. And so the police, I mean, I'm not saying they're used to it, but there were no incidents in Green Tree. So I'm pleased to report there were no NFL draft related problems in Green Tree during the draft. In regard to mental health issues, the police department, every month they deal with numerous mental health. Maybe I shouldn't use the word numerous. What does numerous mean? Last month, they dealt with 6 mental health issues with different residents. So I commend them. They do a great job on that. So that would get us neurodivergency. I'm not saying that's a mental health issue. I don't want to misspeak, but that's another issue the police will have to deal with. So I know one resident in particular is concerned. There's others I'm sure concerned. So I will be meeting at the end of the month and to get more information on that. I'm going to be away actually 2 weeks on my vacations in the first part of 2026. I'll be away for 2 weeks in the middle of May. I'll be back. But in any event, so that's the earliest just with the schedule I can meet. In regard to the 18, we're up and running on the 18, and of those 6 mental health issues, at least one particular lady called more than once, and the 18 was sent to her. So we have in fact on board with the 18, and we have in fact used the 18 today. So that's good news. And so it's up to the discretion of the police department when to use the 18. Next, moving on. In regard to cell phone usage, for the past year, the police could stop you and give you a warning, a slap on the wrist, like they did in Catholic grade school, with a ruler or whatever. But as of June 5th, hands-free can be enforced. I can now stop you as of June 5th, give you a ticket. I believe the ticket's a $50 fine plus court costs. So if you're talking on the cell phone, playing with your cell phone, sending text messages, the police have stopped people in the last year, but just gave them a warning. Come June 5th, the price of both goes up, $50 plus court costs. So you're gonna have to be careful. Next, e-bikes and scooters. Going back for a minute, the Green Tree newsletter, Acting Chief Rannigan has written an article about the hands-free. So there will be an article about the hands-free and that it's now enforceable. Moving on to bikes and scooters. There's a difference between e-bikes and motorized scooters. Motorized scooters, no motorized scooters are allowed on the street. No motorized scooters on the street. In regard to motorized scooters, anyone can ride them on the sidewalk, even if you're 5 years old. So that's the general rules as to scooters. E-bikes are different. Under 16, it's my understanding, under 16, you're not allowed to ride an e-bike anywhere. Under 16. Over 16, you can ride an e-bike on the sidewalk or on the street, but it's just like a bicycle. 16 or over, you have to follow the rules of the Pennsylvania Motor Vehicle Code. But anyhow, there's going to be an article in the newsletter on that. But there has been concerns by several residents contacting Acting Chief Rannigan about scooters and e-bikes. So we're going to try to clarify those rules. In regard to mayor's office hours, my next mayor's office hours are Saturday, June 6th. In regard to Point Park, working on that agreement, had executive session with council. I did a draft of an agreement, revisions to that, and then council has some more suggested revisions. I'm going to revise it, and Kim doesn't know this yet. She's been helping me with it. She's made revisions twice, but Kim, I'll be emailing you tomorrow. Something to look forward to. I'll be emailing you tomorrow some additional revisions. Once those additional revisions, I'm going to circulate it to council. And I did call Scott Swain last week, and he's the athletic director of Point Park. I spoke with him to see what their status was. I spoke with Chris Crassley. He's on the school board to see to keep their interest, and CJ Martorella. He's aware of what's going on. So I'm trying to keep all the interested parties involved in use of that field and improvement of the field. See, you were right.
Very informative, very informative.
In regard to, I did meet the mayor of Corey, help me out there, Corey. Who's the mayor of Pittsburgh? Corey. I did meet Corey Connor actually at a funeral, St. Bede, my friend that I grew up with is deceased, but Corey Connor was there at the funeral. I told him, yes, you're the mayor of Pittsburgh, but I'm the mayor of Green Tree was the first words. But I sat with him, talked with him for a little bit. In regard to the police policies, there still needs some clarifications from, I guess, from my end. So we're still working on that. That's not on the agenda for tonight, the police policies. In regard to, but we'll continue to work on that. And I believe that that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, we move on to community, yeah, good.
Point of order, are
Yes.
we not to report at the beginning of the meeting about executive sessions that were held since the last meeting?
Well, we definitely should.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go through how many executive sessions that we have. Let's see. On April 29th, right, council met to interview for borough council candidates, which that I didn't have to report because that wasn't. But afterwards, we decided to have an executive session because we were going to have an executive session on April 30th. However, because we were all together, we thought might as well have the executive session on April 29th. And that was, I'll let you tell.
Well, we talked, you already mentioned Point State Park.
Point State Park.
We discussed that, Point Park, sorry, Point
Yes.
Park. And then we also discussed the police policies as well as the vacancy, I'm sorry, the chief of police vacancy as well.
Yes, and that was an executive session. Would you like to explain why you decided that was an executive session? What your thoughts to the plot?
So I don't know if I need to share anything, I just know that those were the topics that I heard.
Yeah. Yeah,
Unless
No, you can just say legal and, personnel.
Legal.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for filling that out. So next we move to agenda item number 7, which would be community assets and recreation, which is my chair. So let me start on the agenda. I have appointments to the Recreation and Community Activities Board. So my first motion, I move that we appoint Gina Diddick and Randy Short to the Recreation Community Activities Board for terms to expire on March 1st, 2028.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sure there wasn't any discussion on that, so I missed that. Okay, next, I have a motion that we reappoint Christian Martorella to the Recreation and Community Activities Board for a term to expire on March 1st, 2028.
A second. Okay.
Okay,
I can say, I can second.
motion and a second. Do we have any, is there any talk on that? Any discussion on that?
Kara, do you have the objection?
Any objection? Kara, okay. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next. I have a motion. I move that we reappoint Jill Folkmeyer, Luann Jones, and Christine Short to the Recreation Community Activities Board for terms to expire on March 1st, 2029.
Second that.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? In order to keep the meeting shorter, I will only say we do have a Oktoberfest meeting on May the 18th, which will also be the Recreation and Community Assets meeting. Combine both meetings, they get everything working and done. So I will see my 2 fellow members on May 18th. That's all I have.
Excuse me.
Yes.
To make the meeting longer, I did forget something. Yeah, you have my indulgence. Yeah, the police department's been interacting with the community. They've done a couple events here. For example, Officer Bocci completed his first DARE class. That's about drugs with Guardian Angel Academy 5th grade. So he's trained in the DARE program and he's going to expand that. So I thank Officer Bocci for doing that. Officer Bocci also attended a Special Olympic event at Carnegie Mellon University, and he helped along with the Special Olympic event. So that's another nice event by Officer Bocci. All of our officers, the third thing they did, they assisted LB Foster Company at Foster Plaza. There was the Bring Your Kids to School event. The police officers took their car and spoke with the kids and answered questions about being a police officer. So several of our officers participated in that. Police department also participated in the biannual Keystone Oaks High School Mark Crash demonstration. They helped provide. They coordinated that event about the mock crash, so that was good. And then lastly, attorneys can have 3 lastly. So lastly, we were able to get 4 or 5 vehicles outfitted with new Motorola in-car cameras. So we have new in-car cameras. They've coordinated with our body cameras. So our body cameras are coordinated. We have 5 police cars. You might ask, why didn't we get a new Motorola in-car camera on the 5th car? It's going to be replaced this year, so the new camera will go into the new car. And then Officer Hewitt, he completed taser instruction training. So now we have 2 officers in our police department that are certified taser instructions, which is very important because that's force, but it's not a deadly force most of the time. So anyhow, so we do have 2 officers that are instructive on that. So thank you for your indulgence.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also, Mr. Mayor, we have some new members on the Oktoberfest committee, and they were informing us that to make Oktoberfest more like Oktoberfest, that the mayor actually is the official kickoff of Oktoberfest, and it has a major part in starting Oktoberfest. So you may have more duties coming up in the future.
Just so, I'll be there.
Thank you. Next, economic development and planning, Ms. Schwartz.
All right, committee met on April 9th, just to kind of get Smarterella up to speed, start to do some planning. We talked about creating a schedule so that we could share the responsibilities of attending planning and commission meetings. Because it is twice a month and everybody has busy schedules, we want to make sure we have representation, so we kind of sharing that between the three of us. We're also talking about attendance at zoning hearing meetings, one of us will take a turn whenever there is a zoning hearing to be aware of what's going on with that. We are looking sometime in late June to have our first business community meeting. So we'll be working with the office and different borough officials to see who can attend, so that we can kind of do a what's going on in Green Tree and invite our business owners to come in and get up to date with all the things new and exciting that are happening, and maybe some important things they need to know that might be coming up, road changes, paving programs, you know, the general. So just to also start building that relationship. We are scheduled to meet this month, but due to possible interview schedules, we may have to postpone this month's meeting. So we will keep everyone posted, and something will go on every back if that should change. Otherwise, our meeting is scheduled for next Thursday. Yeah. So, that being said, that's the end of my report. I have an ordinance.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ordinance 1992, approving supplement number 19 as part of the codified ordinances. I move that we pass ordinance 1919, approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances and resolutions as part of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of Green Tree in the form of supplement number 19.
We have a motion, may we have a second, please?
So, this is basically some housekeeping. Every so often, I guess it hasn't happened for about 2 years. We take all the ordinances that we've done over all that time and then codify them, and then they go into the actual like e-code that goes online. So this is, if you look at the list, it's extensive. I mean, it is, I think we go back almost 2 years if not. Is that correct?
Yeah,
So.
very close to 2 years and 5 years.
So that is what this is doing. So these are all things that council has already passed. And has enacted.
Okay, may we have a roll call?
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Caskey,
Yes.
Ms. Godovic, Ms. Martorella,
Yes.
Mr. Panza.
Yes. Okay, then, thank you. Next, we move on to finance and administration, Mr. Allen.
Okay. So I have my first report this evening. I'm really excited because it took this long to get to this report, going through numbers, but here we are. So it took some time over the past few months to go through both our general fund budget report and the engineering vendor history, just to get a clearer picture of where we are and how things have been trending over time. I want to walk through a few takeaways this evening, starting with the budget. At a high level, we are in a solid position currently. Revenues are coming in at about 26.8% of the annual budget, while expenditures are sitting around 20.6%. In layman's terms, that means we are right on track. So at this point of the year, we are bringing in more than we are spending, which is exactly where we want to be early on. On the revenue side, most of our major categories like earned income tax and business privilege tax are tracking right where you would expect them to be. Real estate taxes are a little lower right now, but that is just timing and typical for this point in the year. There are a couple of areas that came in stronger than expected. Delinquent earned income taxes already exceeded budget, and we also saw strong reimbursement from snow and ice this year. We also received the transfer from the sanitary sewer fund early, which is helping our overall position. On the expense side, most departments are tracking pretty close to where they should be. The few things that stand out mostly tied to seasonality. Winter hit us a lot harder, so de-icing supplies are already over budget, and street department overtime is trending higher early in the year. That is not unexpected, it is just something we will keep an eye on as we move forward. At this time, some areas like pool and summer programs have not really started spending yet, so we know more activity is coming later in the year. So overall, from a budget standpoint, nothing here raises any concerns. It looks like a typical start to the year with a few time-related variances. Switching over to the engineering side, this is something that President Ray has asked me to kind of take a closer look at. I have reviewed the long-term spending with our engineering firm to understand how that has evolved. What stood out right away is how much activity we've had over the past few years. Spending increased pretty significantly from around $27,000 in 2021 to over $350,000 in both 2024 and 25. So clearly there has been a major push at infrastructure, compliance, and capital projects during that time. When you look at where the work is going, it is pretty consistent. A lot of it is tied to stormwater compliance, sewer work, road programs, sidewalks, and ADA compliance and improvements. These are all things we know we have to stay on top of, so that lines up with what we would expect. Another positive piece is the amount of grant work currently being done. There's a lot of activity around grant applications and administration, which is important because it helps bring outside funding into our borough. One thing I did notice, and this is not a concern, just something worth understanding better, is how often we see miscellaneous tasks in the bill. That shows up pretty regularly, and I'll be requesting a little more detail, which will help us better understand how time is being spent across all expenditures. The other thing that stood out is that a lot of projects span multiple years. That is normal for infrastructure work, but it is helpful for us as a council to stay aligned on timelines and where things stand as those projects move forward. In addition to this review, I also want to share a major update on how we will be approaching the borough budget moving forward. We will be strengthening our process by placing Babette in the lead role for budget development. She has the deepest knowledge of our financial structure and is the most qualified to guide this process. At the same time, this approach will allow our future borough manager to step in and support that work as they come on board. We will also be building in more structured input from our council throughout this process. This ensures that the budget reflects not just operational needs, but also the priorities and perspective of the full council. This approach strengthens the budget in a few important ways. It creates clearer ownership and accountability in the process. It allows decisions to be informed by both technical expertise and broader policy direction. And it assures that we are looking at the full picture, balancing day-to-day operations, long-term planning, and community priorities. When you step back and look at everything together, the big picture is this. We have made a significant investment in infrastructure over the past few years, and at the same time, our current financial position is stable and well on track. By refining how we build and review our budget, we are putting ourselves in an even stronger position as a borough to manage that investment responsibly moving forward. That's all I have for my report. Right. So, I ratify the actions of the borough manager and, well, the borough in paying the April 2026 invoices from the general fund totaling $179,404.85. Bond fund totaling $8,186. Payroll account totaling $257,705.36. Educational Service Agency Fund totaling $5,202.15, and the credit card for February 2026 totaling $2,617.81.
A second.
There was a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
That passes.
And I also need to approve the payment of the May 2026 invoices from the general fund totaling $159,545.43. The storm sewer fund totaling $5,615.77, and the sanitary sewer fund totaling $902,017.22, and capital projects fund totaling $24,412.83.
Is there a second?
A second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And I also move that we approve the Green Tree Police Pension Fund Investment Policy Statement. Just real quick, a note about this.
Wait, give me a second first.
Okay.
Second.
Perfect. So I did review a ton of information about the police pension fund investment. I spoke with our investment firm, and I can tell you that I now feel very strongly that we are on the right track with this pension fund. I want to apologize that we removed it from the agenda last month. It's because I still needed to do a little bit more research. I appreciate the mayor allowing me to do that research, and I think we're in a phenomenal position now. So
In the products, there's not any high commission or high grade product.
no, I went through and I got all the final information today.
And,
Yep, we're in a really good spot.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And that motion passes. That your conclusion?
That's it, thank you.
Okay. Okay, next we move to public safety, Ms. Caskey.
Thank you. April 27th, we had a great meeting, with the mayor, all our committee members and several residents attended via Zoom. The mayor reported that the police department has increased some patrols on Dale Drive in response to a resident, request or concern that they had expressed at the last meeting. So I appreciate that. Mayor, thanks for that quote on that. And he already gave you the update on School Street and speed bumps. We had a short discussion about, the resident request about sensory training in the police department. We discussed some clarifications, and as Mr. Mayor reported already, he's going to be exploring some training resources, and we're thankful for the resources that were provided to us by residents. We had a very brief discussion about the emergency management coordinator's request to have some more information about coordination with the borough and with the police department. And the consensus was that when we get a borough manager, hopefully soon, that there could be some really close coordination there. The police pension fund investment was of course moved to finance, which was wonderful. We had a brief discussion about the draft police policies, and this was moved to discussion into executive session. This committee has asked for more information from our acting chief about the policies that have been drafted, and we hope to make more progress this month as we gain more information. The topic of the chief of police vacancy was moved to executive session. As always, residents are welcome to attend our public safety committee meetings on the fourth Monday of each month. Our next meeting will be held on Monday, May 25th at 7 p.m. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Next, we move on to a report that may be almost as long as the mayor's report.
Put our seatbelts on. Question,
Oh, okay.
May
Yes.
25th is Memorial Day,
Oh, this is
so we might have to make a change to that, I just realized.
I don't know that we're gonna have a whole lot in that meeting, so it might end up being, we might just skip it, yeah.
Yeah, I just, as I'm looking at the calendar in front of me, I'm like,
I saw it was Brad and I was like, something's up.
so just
People
to know
don't wanna
that.
come back from the beach to have a public safety meeting.
We could do by Zoom.
Yeah, well, it will be on,
Probably.
We could have a picnic.
it will be on Zoom, but we might not have a lot to do, so.
Yes.
we can have-
Yes, so, next, Ms. Margarella.
We're gonna buckle our seatbelts for this. So I have Mr. Stanton is here, thank goodness too. So I'm gonna give a little bit of the chair report, and then as we walk through each of these resolutions, we're gonna kind of discuss each one. That way, we're not creating the discussion ahead of time, we can kind of walk through them.
And, we do now have the
Yes.
agenda line briefing, so
Yes, which is great.
that will help,
Yes,
everyone realize what
So it's here.
each one's about.
yeah. So if you have this, hopefully, is there in case you have extra questions, but we are also here as well. So we, as we met last month in April to catch up to speed, we had our first first private committee meeting last month. And then this month, our first meeting was supposed to be May 14th. But because of borough manager interviews, we will be postponing that, so that will also go out on when that next date will be as well. I did meet with Mr. Stanton, the LSSE and the Public Works Committee on May 27th, and our acting borough manager as well, to go over all of the infrastructure topics that were happening in Green Tree and what was going to be on the agenda for today and upcoming projects. So you'll see some of the projects that we have going on and some tweaks and changes as we discussed through that was discussed in that meeting as well. So you'll see some different changes that we have going through that. So that is our chair report right now, but I want to make sure, because we have 9 line items, that we get to each one of these. And in case the council has any questions or discussion, we can get through those. So the first one is going to be resolution 1388 for Commonwealth Finance Authority Greenway Trails and Recreation Program grant for Parkage Parks improvements. I move that we adopt resolution 1388, authorizing the council president and the borough manager to execute all documents and agreements between the Borough of Green Tree and the Commonwealth Financing Authority to assist in obtaining a grant in an amount of $144,500 under the Greenway Trails and Recreation Program to be used for Parkage Park improvements.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, any discussion? If not, we need a roll call for resolution.
This is just to apply for the grant, right?
Yeah,
Ms. Martorella,
yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Allen, Ms. Kowski,
Yes.
Ms. Godovic.
Okay, the second one, resolution 1389, Commonwealth Finance Authority Greenway Trails and Recreation Program, another grant, comprehensive plans improvements. I move that we adopt resolution 1389, authorizing the council president and the borough manager to execute all documents and agreements between the borough of Green Tree and the Commonwealth Financing Authority to assist in. Oh, I lost my page. Sorry, so this in obtaining a grant in the amount of $127,500 under the Greenway Trails and Recreation Program to use for Green Tree Park Master Planning Project. So another one for applying for the grant.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Not roll call for this resolution.
Ms. Martorella,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Kowski,
Yes.
Ms. Godovic.
Okay, the next one is going to be resolution 1390, Trumbull Drive Bridge Reconstruction Project Agreement. I move that we adopt resolution 1390, authorizing the interim borough manager, finance director to execute all agreements, contracts, and documents as required by the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation Engineering and Construction Management System.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion with this? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
One question, Jason, in regard to the Department of Transportation Engineering and Construction Management System. Can you explain their involvement in the Trumbull's Bridge project?
Yes, as part of the transportation improvement, the tip funding, the dollars approved through SPC, federal dollars get funneled through PennDOT. That system that you referred to is their system by which they procure bids and different things like that. So that's the answer to that system. As it pertains to what specifically, and I'm not real familiar with the Trumbull Bridge as a different consultants handling that. But at a high level, that answers your general question about that
And
system.
this is solely just allowing that to be authorized.
Correct, no, I didn't realize that, but I was anticipating much is gonna be signed.
Right.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay. May we have a roll call?
Ms. Martorella,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Kowski,
Yes.
Ms. Godovic.
Yes. So this next one, Parkway Center Mall Drive, I-376 sanitary repairs. If Mr. Stanton could just give council, and this is new here, so this is super fun. So if Mr. Stanton could just give them a background. on What's
Yes.
going on, that would be great.
Yeah, since our last council meeting, the borough received an odor complaint near I-376. Public Works evaluated that odor complaint. It's in the ravine adjacent to I-376 down from Mall Drive. It's about 80 feet below the parkway. That sanitary sewer, by way of background, is failed and needs fixed. Initially, the thinking was it was a Pittsburgh water sanitary sewer. Digging into the background, Green Tree Borough built that sewer in the late 1980s. It serves generally Olive Garden, East Manila, those few streets over there, cuts across the parkway. Over the years, storm sewer erosion has undermined the sanitary sewer. Shortly after receiving the odor complaint, we walked it with our Public Works, as well as our vendor from the 2023 street and sewer maintenance contract. Developed a plan whereby, upon approval of the private property access, which is the Cosman Development Company, as well as PA American, they have an easement on the other side. Upon their approval, utilizing those easements, our contractor would get down to that elevation, perform the sanitary sewer repairs, much in the same fashion that we last did in about 2012. It's time consuming, hard to access, very difficult repair. In reviewing the project, estimating the cost associated with it, the vendor estimated around 280 some thousand. There's a couple items that we think prudent to be added, and we would recommend that council authorize repairs or authorize sanitary sewer repairs to be completed by Casper Colosimo and Son in an approximate amount of $300,000 as part of the 2023 sewer and maintenance repair contract.
Two questions, does it go under the parkway? You said it cuts across Parkway.
Yes, it goes across the parkway, that
Underneath.
part's underneath, yes, about 50 feet below the parkway.
Okay.
And then it parallels the parkway until it hits a stormwater tunnel in the city of Pittsburgh. At that point, it's an aerial crossing, but at that point, that sewer line's owned by Pittsburgh Water.
Do we have any knowledge as to whether the sewer line underneath the parkway is defective or needs repair?
Yes,
It's defective and doesn't need repair.
absolutely, yes, we physically observed it. And
We're gonna have to work with PennDOT, that's 50 feet underneath.
we'll have to get permission from PennDOT if we need to utilize a shoulder of the parkway to pump concrete down to the repair. Once we get to that point,
And how many feet, do you think this repair is going to be?
about 80 feet roughly,
Total of 80 feet,
yes.
including what's under the parkway.
The part underneath the parkway is fine, it's the part that's parallel to the
Oh, okay.
parkway and the
So the part
storm.
of the parkway is okay.
Yes,
It's the exposed part of, that's
Yes,
why, because if it
parallel.
went to the parkway, we'd be talking about a lot more than three.
yes.
I was gonna say, yeah,
That
that's a
seems
deal.
like a very low average.
Okay.
Okay.
In if I might, this strategy was approved by council. If you recall, in 2021, we had a sanitary sewer break in the tunnel under the parkway on Whiskey Run at the end of Trumbull Drive. The same vendor under the same contract repaired that via access easement via property owner that's actually lives, I believe, in Scott Township, right across the border. So that vendor did that repair under that same contract.
And we did not have to put this out for bid because we have a blanket contract with, Colosimo and Son.
Correct. That blanket contract was publicly advertised and bid in 2023. It renews year to year. Renewal date's July, and that's a great segue. Next month, we'll bring the renewal contract to council for the June board meeting that would be effective in July. But yes, that was bid, publicly advertised and bid 2023.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
My one question, you just said that our sewage line runs into a city of Pittsburgh stormwater.
No, there is a sanitary sewer in the city of Pittsburgh. There's a stormwater tunnel
Oh, okay,
after,
okay,
from the Parkway Center Mall, there's a stormwater tunnel.
okay,
The sanitary sewer, Pittsburgh Water sanitary sewer hangs from that stormwater tunnel.
okay. Okay. Okay.
And it by foot, it takes about an hour and a half to get there.
Okay, well, and you sure it's in the borough of Green Tree, it's not in the city? Okay.
It's physically in the city. We have an easement, Green Tree Borough designed, permitted, and constructed it in the late 1980s.
So it became our responsibility.
Yes,
And we didn't like transfer it to this city?
You can try right now.
No, I'm just saying that, I wonder why we did that.
I think there's a backstory there that was subject to some litigation and some zoning complaints. And there were some sanitary sewer issues on our neighborhood over in East Manila.
I would never.
Okay, well, I mean, at this point.
And Mr. Penza took a lot of digging to get those facts. My initial gut is in the city. We collaborated with the city in terms of ownership and borough staff to kind of get the background as to that.
And I'm sure the
Before we
city
got to
gave
this
you
point.
no problems for us to go in there and fix that, right? They were just fine with that, right?
Pittsburgh Water was fine with it after they determined that it's a Green Tree Borough sewer, yes.
Very good, thank you.
One quick question for me, when should we know what the final cost will be?
After it's constructed.
Oh, so we'll get that information.
Yes, that contract is essentially an indefinite quantity, indefinite deliverable contract. The borough would only pay the cost associated with the repair.
And 300,000 is the estimate.
I think that's a reasonable estimate.
But
Like-
this is coming out of our sewage fund, it's
Correct.
not like, you know, so,
Yeah. It's still,
I know.
It's still a lot of money, and unfortunately, these are
it
the
wasn't
not
something
scientific.
that's literally just learned about today, so. Basically, it's what.
Well, it's a good thing we set a sewage fund up,
Thank
you
goodness.
know?
Yep.
And we didn't learn about it that long ago, so it was only. a few
Correct,
weeks ago.
April 13th, the odor complaint was received.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
We do not have a second yet.
Yeah, I'll say.
We didn't have,
I didn't have the motion.
Chair has to make that
Yeah.
motion stuff.
So I move we authorize sanitary repairs to be completed by Casper Colosimo and Son in an approximate amount of 300,000 as part of the 2023 sewer and roadway maintenance contract.
Second.
okay, now we have a motion and a second, so all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Okay,
Okay, this next one as well, the Dale Drive drainage swale rescoping. So I'll give a little bit of background on this one as well. So previously, we gave a motion to restore the current stormwater runoff system that was already there. After walking through, both Dave Ray walked through, President Ray walked through with, LSSE and our Public Works team, and then I did a second walkthrough as well with them walking through everybody's backyard in Dale to look at the stormwater runoff system. We met with the team and discussed a possible alternative. Mr. Stan, if there's anything you wanted to add to that, and then we'll go through the motion, but.
Yes, and part of it, last month, council awarded a contract or awarded a task to restore that drainage swale with the objective of slowing some of the water down and restoring what was there between Dale Drive and
No.
Glencoe, the cul-de-sac.
Amino.
Domino, thank you very much. Similarly, the borough has a system between Reed Drive and School Street, storm sewer that's piped. That is relatively maintenance free. That in thinking through that, part of the reason for the field meeting was to explore, is there an opportunity to decrease the maintenance associated with it? And that necessitated the field walkthrough. We tend to think that there is. It's obviously more costly than what council awarded last month. However, it's less costly in terms of operation and maintenance. And fast forwarding a year or two ahead in our MS4, our municipal separate storm sewer permit obligations, the borough will be looking for volumetric projects to implement.
This would fall to the MS4 project.
Piping it, less maintenance, spending additional dollars, and including some volumetric element, means stormwater management. As well as potentially extending some of the backyards of those residents there. After walking it, that was the conclusion that was in the best interest of the borough to revisit that concept.
Yeah, two questions here. What was the amount? I didn't look it up, sorry. What was the amount of the swell work previously awarded last month?
About $95,000, rough numbers.
And what company was that with?
The blanket contract,
Coliseum.
yes.
And next question is about, is there any immediate need for a remedy in this area?
And that's a good question, Mayor. Initially, after the storm event happened, our public works took care of the immediate need, removed a lot of the sediment from the stormwater basin that's there. removed some of the blockage that was there. That took care of that immediate flooding issue that was observed. That swale is functioning how it did the last 20-some years since it was adopted. So in terms of the immediate repair, that was kind of the concept with what was awarded last month by council, was to get something done sooner rather than later. Attempt to slow the water down, but there's still going to be a large operation and maintenance aspect associated with it. The thinking was to try to minimize the O&M requirements, create something that we have between Reed and School Street, and rethink that for all the other reasons I mentioned before.
So what's a reasonable estimated amount of time it would take for this alternate method?
Probably a year to 18 months, because it's going to include permitting. We'll need to get a permit from the state.
And construction drawings.
Correct, yes, yes.
Do you think the status quo, what would exist as of today, can hold off water for a year to a year and a half?
I think it will, but the other element is it largely depends on the intensity of the storm event.
Can I speak to this too? Because I live on Dale and I have one of the backyards that has experienced what's happened. I'm about 4 houses from the bottom, 5 houses from the bottom. And so there were some houses at the bottom that were getting flooding off of, and then, yeah. So we've done a lot of things to just survive this, Mr. Mayor. And I think a year and a half feels really good. Like if we know this is gonna be permanently fixed in a year and a half. I can't speak for everyone on my street, but I think I feel much better about having a permanent solution. Than just continuing to kind of survive like everybody seems to have been doing for the past 7 years.
And if we know that the possibility of sediment increase, we could have public works kind of keep an eye on it over this next year. And do regular checks to just make sure that we're keeping it clear until the. I think that's.
The important thing is that the borough's being active on this. I think that's the most important thing. So thank you.
And frankly, that general thinking was the sense of the committee after walking it.
After we walked in, we saw everything, the jumble that was happening. That was yeah.
Human survival,
Yeah.
one way or the other.
I just wanted to make sure we could hold off for a year and a half without any anticipated major problems. I know it's hard to predict.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, would you like to make the motion?
Yes.
Yeah. I move that we rescind the Dale Swale work previously awarded as part of the 2023 roadway and sewer maintenance blanket contract as authorized in April 6, 2026 council meeting, and authorize LSSE to evaluate alternative conveyance and storage alternatives.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, next one, the 2026 roadway improvement program. I move we authorize award of the base bid and add alternate number 3 of contract number 26 R01 2026 roadway improvement program to Youngblood Paving Inc. as a low bidder in the amount of $891,834.50.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Would you like to highlight some of the key roads?
Yes, in the base bid scope of road, work is Sheldon Avenue. Obviously, that is subject to a cost share agreement with PA American because of the water line work that's being performed on there. And also essentially in that neighborhood, Carroll Place, Ramey Avenue, Pocono, and then a section of Glencoe Avenue. That's in the base bid. Add alternate 3 is crack sealing associated with the 2024 road program. The bids came in, they were competitive. They were reasonable in terms of where we thought they would be in terms of the budget. And that would be our recommendation. One other element that I wanted to mention to council that's in the contract. obviously, filling up your cars going to the gas station, the gas prices are higher, okay? In this contract, we bid a provision called a liquid asphalt escalator, very similar to PennDOT. Any Department of Transportation, if the liquid indice skyrockets, and it only applies to the oil that's in the bituminous pavement. It doesn't relate to the stone, it doesn't relate to the trucking. It's only the liquid content that's in the bituminous material. If that goes up greater than 10%, the contractor is eligible for additional compensation. And it's based on from the month it was advertised to the month in when that asphalt is laid. Okay. That index goes up generally the first Monday of every month. The index went up today by 8%. The key element there is that escalator index only kicks in if it's 10% or greater. So in terms of the escalator index, for May, the contractor wouldn't be eligible for an escalation for their asphalt. If something goes up higher or things become more volatile in the Middle East and that goes up, and I've looked at this, we still would be under budget if the escalator went up by a record amount, which coincides with the jump that it took when Russia invaded Ukraine. That was about a 28% increase. And applying that to your road program, we'd still be under the $1 million budget with the award of the base bid and that alternate three.
What if it goes down after that? I mean,
If it goes down 5%, doesn't impact. If it goes down 10%, we get a deduct.
Okay. So it could go up and down during the
Correct.
course.
And that's one of the reasons why we did that, because A, it's fair and it takes a lot of the guesswork from the vendors bidding. And so we've implemented that. Again, it's a PennDOT standard criteria. And it takes a lot of the uncertainty of future oil prices projecting 60 to 90 to 120 days out.
And lastly, I know that Young Blood Paving Inc. is the lowest responsible bidder. Otherwise, you wouldn't have recommended it. I'm curious if you dealt in the past with Young Blood Paving Inc.
And a lot of municipalities, and they were our vendor last year in 2025. Did a
Thank
nice
you.
job.
And are we still doing the curbing? Change the way we were flooding the asphalt
Yes.
again. So we're gonna continue with that, so we don't have the freestyle cracking that we had.
Yes.
years prior.
That transition occurred during construction in 2025 last year.
Going forward.
Yes,
And then my question, normally we would rely on the borough manager to answer these questions. Without one, I have to ask you, who then will make sure Youngblood is doing their job properly? You, okay. Okay,
in my staff, I'm
Yeah.
not a one-man band by any means.
yeah, but you will check, make sure they
Absolutely.
build it correctly, put in the proper amount of asphalt on it.
Yes. And quantify those sums that PA American needs to reimburse the borough for their portion of the work.
Thank you,
Very similar that we've done in the background the last 3, 4, 5 years for the borough.
thank you. Thank you very much.
And we'll have a total cost then after the work is done, correct?
Correct. And
Because I mean, it is important to note that we do have $1 million from the capital projects fund already set aside.
correct. And the contract's a unit price contract, so they only get paid for the units that they install.
Okay, perfect.
If, one last question,
Yes.
okay. What if something would go on and the price would increase like 38%? Do we have a right to hold off?
If you award the contract, no. If it escalates that high,
Yeah.
the contractor would be awarded additional compensation, but I've done that arithmetic and kind of baked that into my recommendation this evening.
I totally understand, just. I mean, if we have, say, a set budget of $1 million. And it would somehow, unforeseen go way over budget. Would we not have a right to stop that from going over budget? Probably not, because it's in the contract.
Well, and also, one of the things is we're at $109,000 under budget right now.
Yeah.
He's saying 28% still keeps us
Right.
under that, so 38,
Yeah,
we may be talking about $10,000, not hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
Yes, and keep in mind what you're awarding tonight.
Yeah.
Deduct what PA American is going to
Yeah, there's still much
reimburse us
coming out of that from.
around $120,000. So the likelihood of getting above our budgets.
At that point, no one's gonna be driving a car.
Right.
If
Did
the
you
gas
say-
goes that high.
Did you say
no one's gonna be driving.
120,000 would be awarded from American Water?
That's
That's-
based on the scope of work, that's the estimate of the reimbursement as we sit here today, yes.
We have a lot of fish.
We have this Sheldon needs a lot out right now. I drive it every day.
okay,
So
so,
should we finish it?
I don't know. Did I
No.
finish? Okay.
No.
I was just thinking, did I?
Yeah,
we're all.
We're ready? Okay.
All, we have a motion and a second, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
Okay, so this one is kind of a conjunction for the next one, or for the previous one, so we added Green Tree. Park upper in the parking lots as an add alternate to the. Paving project, so what we are asking tonight is. I don't know if anybody's been to Hemlock 1 and 2 Green Tree Park parking lots, the lines to park are, they're gone.
Yeah.
So if you don't know where to park by memory, it is a free-for-all circus of cars. And it is causing people to possibly back out into another car, they can't get out of cars, kids are walking in and out of cars. So what we would like to do, since we're not gonna be paving necessarily as an add alternate, we like to repaint those parking lines, so people coming to our parks that don't know where to park off of memory, know exactly where to park and they're not causing havocs. Especially with Oktoberfest and everything else that's gonna be happening, the farmer's market, everybody knows where to park and we can keep it orderly and
And
back
it's a
out.
parking lot,
And
so.
and it's a park and ride, so there's people who don't know where to park. So there's the background on that. So I knew that we authorized an award of $5,850 to Parking Lot Painting Company, PLPC. Paint this parking lot, repark this.
Second one.
We have a motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Okay, one more.
All right, we're rolling down the line here. Okay. The next one is agreement of sale parcel number 8 of Trumbull Drive Bridge Project. I move that we approve payment in the amount of $3,007.50 to Commercial Storage Leasing Company in consideration of the execution of an agreement of sale, fee simple and agreement sale easement, and the temporary easement for construction for parcel number 8 of the Trumbull Drive Bridge Project.
Second.
We have a
So
motion.
this is part of the bridge project.
Yes,
Yes.
just
So
Yeah,
just,
so
it's one of the easements that we're getting, it's supposed to be.
Yes, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Anything else? You,
Yeah.
are you done? Okay, thank you.
we did.
Next, we move to community and employee engagement, Mr. Novick.
Just wanted to provide an update on the borough's effort to improve the audiovisual systems used during our public meetings. Many residents have expressed how important it is to have reliable, accessible virtual participation options, and I share that priority. As part of reviewing our current systems, we learned in mid-February that several AV upgrade proposals have been developed, but were never disclosed to the council prior to the former borough manager separation. Because these proposals were not previously brought forward, we are now working to evaluate them carefully and responsibly. At this time, we have 4 proposals from 2 separate companies. I also scheduled meeting with a third company that I connected with at the A-Long conference last month. That was able to meet with Tina Clark from the Wilson Group last week, and I'm working to schedule with Tina to follow up this week with her, and her integration engineer to obtain additional insight into what upgrades may be best to meet our needs and serve our residents to participate virtually. I understand that many residents would like to see these upgrades completed quickly. I hear that, and I agree that improving our technology is important. At this time, it is essential that council select solutions that are budget appropriate, effective, and support our commitment to transparency and public engagement. Rushing into contract without fully understanding our options would not serve residents well in the long run. It is my hope that council will have be in position to vote on a proposal during the June council meeting, which would allow us to begin the upgrade process soon afterward. My goal is to ensure that the borough invests in the right improvements, ones that will enhance accessibility, reliability, and overall experience for everyone who attends or watches our meetings. Thank you for your patience as we work through this process thoughtfully and responsibly. That's it for that. Earlier this month, I had the opportunity to attend the Allegheny League of Municipalities Conference in Seven Springs with fellow council members. It was incredibly informative weekends filled with workshops, discussions, and networking with fellow local leaders from across the region. I'm proud to share that Green Tree Borough was honored as a banner community and received an official certificate recognizing our commitment to effective local governance and community engagement. It was a meaningful moment and a statement, a testament to our hard work of our borough staff, elected officials, and volunteers. Just want to point out that the committee meets the fourth Monday of the month at 6:30. The meetings are brief but productive, and all residents are welcome to attend either in person or online. And we'll probably have to skip this month since it's on Memorial Day. Your participation are always appreciated, and we're still actively seeking additional resident volunteers to join the residential advisory committee, so please reach out if there's any interest. That's it for my report.
Thank you. Under the president's report, I have a couple items to report. Green Tree's conducting a garage sale on May 16th. A flyer with links to an interactive map and list of registered garage sale addresses for the garage sale day are available for pickup at the library and at the municipal office, as well as linked in the webpage. The resources will be updated periodically until May 15th. The second item, we will be hosting another trail cleanup day, June the 6th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. All are welcome. And this date was changed from the 13th due to scheduling issues. Speaking of the Nature Center, I did have a chance to walk through the Nature Center, and my first thought when I saw the benches, the wood on the benches you can't even sit on. I mean, I can't believe the condition they are in. And I would love if the Public Works could immediately look at the wood on the benches. I mean, it could be fixed. I mean, within a couple hours. And so I would like someone to take a look at the benches. And then on cleanup day, we also, in the future, we may have additional help if we bring some goats in. We're talking about having some goats come to the Nature Center, but we are working on that. I'm sure we'll get more information with that. So that is the two items I wanted to report. And next would be the manager's report. However, we require a manager to do the manager's report, and without a manager, there will be no manager's report at this time. So now we will open up to public comment of anything anyone wants to talk about.
We have signs, I'm sure we're okay. Teacher, president of the Green Tree Garden Club.
Yes.
We have a festival coming up this week. It's on Saturday, the day before Mother's Day. So all of you who have not pre-ordered your flowers, we will have a number of them at the fire hall, as well as up in the municipal garden up here. We also will have a flea market at the fire hall. We will be selling some other plants at the fire hall as well as food. Downstairs in the gymnasium, we will have vendors, a number of vendors from all types of things. We will also have food there as well. So, please, make sure that you come and, bring your friends and family, and hopefully the day will cooperate. It's been kind of iffy and it's a little lately, so. Thank you.
You did a great job putting your signs all over. Well,
Well advertised.
well advertised.
Hi, you doing? Dimitri, 194 Park Edge. Just want to say very briefly, I'm surprised you guys mentioned ALOM. I totally forgot about it. This summer I've been working for the county executive and communications department, and I had the privilege of writing all of the probably 80 community citations for ALOM for the Allegheny County, and I was very glad that you guys got it. So I hope you enjoy it.
I think it'll be a picture and then he's. Of whoever was.
Yeah, sweet, very nice. That's all I got.
Hello there, Jeff Natale, 895 Cherry Street. I'm also a member of the planning committee. Just wanted to talk briefly tonight about the vape shop that it just opened. And not so much about how we can control it. Planning is working on that, the number of shops, the items. But the process that happened is what concerns me. That property came into planning and was looked at for a one business to go into that spot. As a matter of fact, it didn't even have enough parking for that one business to even go in there, so it was variance. At the time when that happened, the planning committee didn't even really know that a second office was being built next to the sandwich shop. And then it came back, it was, oh, it's just gonna be an office, or maybe there's gonna be supplies in there. And we said, wow, that's not what we were thinking. This was gonna be a one facility, this was gonna be one retail business. My question is how did it get all the way through to the permits being issued? And we now have the vape shop over there. We do the hard work of trying to stop this stuff. We sit and listen to people come in and say what they're gonna do, and what they're gonna build. It turns out that's not what they build. We flagged that as saying, hey, that's not what we said, that's not what we agreed to, but yet somehow Green Tree awarded that vape shop a permit, a valid permit to go in there. So I just offer it up to council that the process is definitely not working. We should have caught this one. There's no reason for that to be over there at this point. Maybe it's too late now. Again, hopefully for the future, we're good with some of the stuff that's gonna come out of planning to try to limit where these vape shops go and how many of them are there. And I just want to follow up quickly on School Street. I am so glad to hear that that's been approved. It's been a long time coming. I just had the opportunity to walk School Street and it was not good. I mean, waving to people, hey, I'm here on the street walking, and people just flying by you. So it needs speed bumps desperately to slow that traffic down. Thank you.
Just a clarification, it's not been approved. The survey's gonna go out to all the residents. And depending on the survey, then council will have to vote on it. But it's in
Speed
the,
bumps.
yeah. speed
Okay,
bumps.
hopefully, I would think the
So it's in
residents will be for it, because like I say, I almost got killed 2 or 3 times, just.
But it's in the
walking like
process. It's not officially approved by council.
All right, thank you.
Also, just for clarification, I believe they were issued the parking permit for the variance, but I'm not sure if they have an occupancy permit as of yet.
Okay, and then that's even.
I
look at.
I think I believe that. We can.
When did they open? Like an hour ago?
No, there, we have information out, the process, we'll talk about.
Okay.
Sam Selbeck, 195 Green Tree Road. First, I want to thank the borough for supporting the April 12th Trail Cleanup Day and Public Works team for helping to prepare materials for volunteers. I also want to appreciate the borough's continued commitment to our Bird Town certification. I think Elisa is going to talk a little bit about that here in a second. And as well as Kim and Babette for supporting getting some answers for that application. I know that we were pausing on discussing police policy, but just for the record, I want to put my opinion out there. Transparency and public input are essential to a functioning democracy and values many of you campaigned on. While I'm not a policy or a police expert, I believe it's reasonable to expect that any policy revisions go through multiple levels of review before being brought to a vote. There should be also a clear and formal procedure requiring that redacted versions of police policies are made readily available to residents without the need to file a right to know request, so people can understand how policing decisions are being made and how to advocate for themselves. This is not a critique on our police department or its officers. I deeply respect all of them. This is about ensuring that our processes are transparent, thorough, and inclusive, so residents are informed and have meaningful opportunities to provide input. By removing opportunities for public input, you're sending the message that this council prioritizes liability protection for the police and the borough over earnestly implementing best practices for our community policing. And let me be clear, we are currently operating without clear leadership in place, a borough manager and a police chief. That's not a minor gap. It's a significant absence. It demands greater caution, stronger oversight, and more deliberate process, not speed. Moving forward without those roles filled risks undermining both the integrity of these policies and the public's trust in them. There are communities across this country who have implemented community input models, and I implore council to explore using this moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elisa Kansky for Robinson Road. I just wanted to give a quick update on the Bird Town application for the Audubon Society. The application has been submitted. I want to thank council, Mr. Stanton, the Green Tree Garden Club, and the Green Tree Library for all of the information that you contributed to complete the application and all the work that you have done over the past 2 years that I was able to include in the application to get our certification approved. And I look forward to working, myself and the other committee members on Bird Town look forward to working with everyone to continue our certification and make our community a little greener. The application will be reviewed the second week of May, so very soon, and we should have determination following review. I also would like to thank you, Mayor, for pointing out that sensory training is a specialized training that may not be extensively addressed in general mental health training for first responders. I just personally want to clarify that although one individual brought this to the attention of council, I represent a group of over 10 residents who have brought this to my attention to advocate for our first responders to have access to resources and training that may benefit both the public and our first responders, and that our neighboring communities have these trainings as well. So I look forward to continuing this discussion. Thank you.
A question. In order to move forward with having the goats come to the nature center, seriously, what do you think the process would be? What are we looking at?
So Bird Town is doing a review of kind of the needs within the nature center. One of those needs, as we talked about, is we have a lot of invasives, especially at the entrance of the nature center, including a large amount of wineberry, which is a very thick, thorny plant that destroys the forest floor because it prevents other natives to grow and the sunlight to get to the forest floor. So it's considered an invasive by Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is moving to get that and other invasives out. We've also found poison hemlock in our nature center that we addressed because it is poisonous. It's also by the playground, which is a little worrisome. So there's these types of things that we want to look at and look at how we remedy them, and also how we can get natives in their place to have a healthier environment. The goats will eat anything, including wineberry, which is really, really great. So when we look at having, from what the research that Bird Town has done, when we look at bringing goats in, there are companies that this is their specialty, is having these goats come in. So what we've done is we started off early in the spring of taking a tour of, we're focusing right now just on the entrance area of the nature center. And looking at what we need as far as all of these invasives, how bad is it, what really needs addressed. And then looking at ways to help that, including the goats, and if that would be something that we could do to help. We just don't want the goats eating the good stuff, that's in there. So as we kind of map out the entrance and come up with an action plan, we'll present that to the borough. And let you know all of the options so that as a community, we can come up with the best resources, which goes as a good resource.
And then we can reach out to companies and get proposals.
Allegheny County Parks has used goats. There's a couple parks that do like Goat Fest. Be worth reaching out to them for resources as well.
Yeah, I think it's Allegheny Goatscape is the one I was reading.
Yeah, because I mean, I know that the Allegheny Parks program has a list of them, so they may have some insight to help with that.
And one of the benefits of being Bird Town certified is that once you're a bird town, it unlocks a lot of resources. Not only with the Audubon Society, but other communities that are doing this work. And so you get access to grants, you get access to people who have had the issues that we might have and figuring out the best way to take care of it. We have oak wilt, an oak wilt problem in the nature center as well. So these are all things that we can lean on, all of these resources that are opening up to us by becoming a bird town, and to address the best way we can move forward, including goats, which was just fun to watch.
I have one more question. At AMOM, I actually got to go to a workshop about Bird Town. And I learned that there's different levels of it. What does it look like Green Tree will qualify for, or is that what we're gonna find out in May?
That's what we'll find out. We've done so much work, especially, you know, with the garden club has done so much education. I'm so impressed when I looked at everything, and the library. And then Mr. Stanton gave me this long list of things in the borough that we have done that have been really great and qualified. So once they review the application, they'll let us know where we stand, and then we can work each year towards getting certified to the next level.
Well, yeah, we want to thank you and your group for revitalizing the nature center because it's a community asset that a lot of people in Green Tree, it's underutilized. And when they see what we actually have there, you know, it's a great asset for them. So thank you and everyone for your work on the nature center.
And I look forward to, we're excited about the nature center, but also like letting people know what they can do in their own yards and their own properties to help their, you know, everything that they have in the environment, you know, be a little better.
Well, also, it was brought to light also that if we create a nice environment for the deer in the nature center, and seriously, then maybe they'll stay there and not, you know, come to other places. So, you know, that's something to think about, which is very,
I've done a training on the managing deer population in my free time. And there are a lot of resources out there about this topic and how there are plants that they'll eat instead of hopefully people's houses.
It's called a salad bar.
Thank you.
any other public comment?
Aldo Arcolati, 143 Sheldon Avenue. I would just like to comment on a few matters. First of all, regarding the situation on Sheldon Avenue, there are now 2 simultaneous construction zones, which are making it difficult to travel along that road. It also affects people on Park Edge to some degree as well. It's getting really difficult. At times, it seems you have to parachute into the neighborhood. And so that's a concern. Also, a concern that I have specifically about my property. And I mentioned this to the borough office. I believe it was around April 22nd. On approximately April 15th, the folks doing the work worked on my property, and they removed a drainage pipe that was installed by the borough maybe 20 to 25 years ago. That was put in because water was ponding on the roadway. And it was removed. I spoke to the folks, and of course, they told me they would put it back. It extends beyond my property line. This was at the time that Mr. Mons was the borough manager, excuse me, and Mr. Cassidy, I believe, was the borough engineer. So some time ago, I'd forgotten it was even there. And I did not mention it to the workmen ahead of time, but after I saw it removed, it made me think about it. So I expressed that concern to the borough office, that I do hope that the contractor said they would be restoring that. But in the event that it is not restored, ponding again could happen on the roadway. And I asked for someone in Public Works or the borough engineer to get back to me on this matter. And I didn't hear anything, so I wanted to mention it tonight. I believe the borough engineer is here, so perhaps I could speak to you after the meeting and I could provide more detail. So my concern is, if they don't restore it, I won't know because it's like, 15 feet underground or something. So if it doesn't get restored, and I'm not there to see them actually restored since it's a borough asset, I think you folks should know about it. So that's one matter. Also, I share the concerns about the vape shop. I attended the planning commission meeting and I spoke at length at the meeting concerning my feelings. I assume there's some kind of a reporting or whatever that you folks could review to see exactly what I said. But basically, I have concerns that it was represented to us that it would be a sub shop. And now also it's going to be a portion of the property is going to be used as a vape shop. And the negative impact that those kind of businesses have in a community, the risk to youth, underage sales, it's a school bus route along Green Tree Road. It's close to the library, so on and so forth, so on and so on. I have real concerns about that. We already have several vape shops in the community. Also, from their sign, it seems to indicate that they're going to sell a substance called Kratom, Kratom, which is not a tobacco product by my research. And that substance apparently is hazardous. At least some people believe it's hazardous and potentially addictive. And to the point where some people can experience psychosis and acting out and dangerous behavior and things like that. So that's a concern to me. I'm surprised to see that portion of the building is going to be used for that when I thought it was only going to be a submarine shop. Lastly, something I was hoping to hear at tonight's meeting, I didn't hear it mentioned, and that is the concern that Ms. Christine Short mentioned at the last meeting regarding the Oktoberfest and a debit card, a Square account. And I did not speak at the last meeting to support what she was saying and also to mention the vape shop, which I planned to mention at the last meeting because of the tremendously long meeting we had last month. So I wanted to spare everyone that discussion at that point. But I also share her concerns regarding that debit card and whether there's any missing funds or an accounting of those funds or what exactly happened. And I'd be looking for a report about that kind of thing. I believe there was some discussion by council members that someone was going to look into that matter. So I'm just looking for a status update. And I do hope that steps will be taken to prevent such a thing from happening again if it's determined to be unwise or improper to handle things like that. Thank you very much.
I can report on that real quick. I'm still waiting to hear back from the Square. Unfortunately, there's a couple of additional hoops that we have to jump through because it was not in fact a borough account. So I can report that. It was not something that was set up through the borough. It was something that was previously done with the previous borough manager and Oktoberfest. So at this point, neither of those things still exist here in the borough. The previous individual that was working on Oktoberfest, also our borough manager. So I'm kind of doing everything on the back end, working with our finance director of what funds were transposed over. But unfortunately, at this point, I need answers from Square of what was actually brought in. And that's something that Square is having a hard time getting that released to me, because again, it was not something that was borough. You can put the name Green Tree Borough on whatever you want. I've seen this in the past, but that does not necessarily mean that it is supported by Green Tree Borough. So because of that, I'm just waiting on a response from Square, and we may very well have to get some sort of an additional letter over to them to get that information, because again, it was something that was funded into Green Tree Borough, but again, was not something that was set up directly through Green Tree Borough. So that's my report on it so far, but please know that I am feverishly behind the scenes trying to get to the bottom of it, as I'm gonna be super involved in Oktoberfest this year. We'll make sure that that does not continue to happen. It's a little bit difficult because we don't have a separate fund for Oktoberfest. It's a general fund sort of a situation. So things that are sent over there, we pay it through that, and it's a reimbursement process. But again, I promise I will have that in detail next month.
And we are changing the way that we are
Correct.
having our own.
Yeah, we're working on the way that that'll be done in the future. Again, there's a way that the expenditures have to happen, because when we're writing checks from an account, the fund has to have so much in it. It's stuff that I won't bore you with, but I promise you, behind the scenes, we are working diligently to make sure that it never happens again.
Okay. Well,
Just a quick comment.
go right ahead.
With regard to the police, some requests are reasonable, like redacted policies without a right to know request. However, I do disagree about clear leadership. Under acting chief Brannigan, we've had clear leadership. I've been here 20 years, 8 years on council, 12 years as mayor. Clear leadership is shown by the morale has never been better in 20 years in the police department. Community involvement has never been better in 20 years. Police culture has never been better in 20 years. That shows whether he's interim, acting, whatever, there is clear leadership in the past 3 years under acting Chief Radigan. So that's the only thing that I feel compelled to say. Thank you.
Okay, well,
I request a brief executive session at the meeting
okay,
to
fantastic.
speak about possible litigation.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, I'm glad we just learned about that. So, okay. So can I entertain a motion that we adjourn this meeting?
Second.
Okay.
It's a motion to go into executive session.
To go into executive session.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.